were set last night, which I appreciate. So it made things a lot easier this morning. I just added a story about the GOP and the IVF bill. I think that was the only one I added, and then I updated the AP one as well.
I'm really thinking of your art selection.
I liked the Nixon one.
Me too.
That was my favorite.
Because listen, the art, as you well know, is as important as my careful selection of these links. If the art doesn't work, it's not visually pleasing. So I look at this, I'm scrolling through it as I'm speaking to you, and I just think it looks terrific. And then when you couple in the cartoon from Rob Rogers and the ad for Smerconish and Aleko's ad for the YouTube, it's I would be a subscriber to this if I weren't involved in it.
Me too.
I wish I'd remembered my headphones, but I didn't know I was going to end up here.
30 seconds.
Guys, this might be a little bit more of me than usual, but if you have something to say, jump in.
Fine.
Speak up.
15 seconds. Headlines are live in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I'm looking out my window. The leaves are turning. The leaves are turning. Like, here comes fall. Football is being played. It's a nice time to go to central Pennsylvania, take a drive, and see Pennsylvania's newest casino, Parks Casino in Shippensburg. I'm looking at you, Hagerstown, Maryland, and Winchester, Virginia, Chambersburg, Virginia, Martinsburg, West Virginia, and many more. Have some fun. Get lucky in no time at Pennsylvania's newest casino. The all-new Parks Casino in Shippensburg is also smoke-free. Wow. Less than an hour from Harrisburg, the state capital, 500 state-of-the-art slot machines, 48 live dealer electronic table games featuring blackjack, roulette, and more. Oh, Aleko, I love how you're showing those images. That is just awesome. It looks enticing, doesn't it? A fun spot inside the casino called the Side Pocket, where comedy night is every Friday night, hilarious headliners, live music every Saturday night. It's just a great place to go and have some fun. Get in on all the action. The all-new Parks Casino Shippensburg, located off Interstate 81. Visit Parks, P-A-R-X, casino.com. You got to be 21. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Time now for headlines from the Wednesday edition of the Smerconish.com daily newsletter. So this was really fortuitous, really interesting, and I laughed when I saw the news. Poll results yesterday, 33,824. Should you be able to vote on your phone? 66.49% said no. 2/3 say no. I'm in the yes category. I want to make sure, obviously, that it's secure, but this is the direction in which I think we need to go. The part of the story that is funny to me is that as this was the poll question yesterday, are we okay voting on our phones? The Teamsters, evaluating their endorsement in the presidential race, met behind closed doors with Vice President Kamala Harris. And guess what? They put out a missive to their membership and they said, will you please vote on your phone and tell us how you think we should endorse in this race? We're showing it for the benefit of our YouTube viewers with a QR code. If it's good enough for the Teamsters, why not the rest of us? Today's poll question at Smerconish.com, which of the following do you wish was never invented? By the way, Dan, TC, Sam, get ready because you have to answer this momentarily. You too, Aleko. Which of the following do you wish was never invented? Facebook, Instagram, smartphones, Snapchat, the internet, TikTok, X meaning Twitter, or I'd keep them all. I'm not asking the question in a vacuum. There are 3 different stories, all at Smerconish.com today, that you've got to read collectively to appreciate why I'm asking the question. Story number 1. This is so sad to me. It's a stomach punch. Dateline, Ann Arbor, Michigan, University of Michigan Health, C.S. Mott Children's Hospital, a study that says 1 in 5 parents say their kids are friendless. Friendless. Imagine going off to school with not a single friend in the classroom. Breaks my heart. Story number 2, it's an essay from Jonathan Haidt, who's been a frequent guest on the program, and Will Johnson. Johnson's the chief executive of the Harris Poll. This is what gave rise to today's poll question. They write the following: was social media a good invention? One way to quantify the value of a product is to find out how many of the people who use it wish it had never been invented. Feelings of regret or resentment are common with addictive products, think cigarettes, and addictive activities, think gambling, even if most users say they enjoy them. For non-addictive products, hairbrushes, bicycles, walkie-talkies, ketchup, it's rare to find people who use the product every day yet wish it could be banished from the world. For most products, those who don't like the product can simply use it. So with that in mind, Mr. Haidt and Johnson put together a survey. It was offered to 1,006 Gen Z, that means 18 to 27-year-olds. They were asked about their online activities, about their views on the effects of social media on themselves, and about what kinds of reforms they'd support. And then, here's the result. They were asked, I wish the following blank had never been invented, and the percentage who said each. So 50% said, I wish Twitter, X, were never invented. 47% said, I wish TikTok were never invented. 43% said Snapchat. 37% said Facebook. 34% said Instagram. 21% said smartphones, etc., etc. So I have parroted from that for today's poll question. And before I ask my guests, my friends, my colleagues, which they would want to get rid of or wish had never been invented, here is story number 3. We have the coverage from Meta. Meta yesterday made significant announcement, sweeping overhaul to beef up privacy and limit social media's intrusive effects. All accounts of users younger than 18 will be made private by default in the coming weeks, which means the only followers approved by an account holder may see their posts. That's number 1. They're going to stop notifications to minors from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. to promote sleep. That's number 2. In addition, Instagram will introduce more supervisory tools for adults, including a feature that allows parents to see the accounts that their teenager recently messaged. Okay, TC, ladies first.
Okay.
Ladies first. Which of the following do you wish was never invented?
I'd keep them all.
You would keep them all?
Yes, I would keep them all. I think it's one of those instances that we've been talking about all week, frankly, where the technology went faster than the rules, the regulations, the parental. I think it just, everything else needs to catch up. It's not that it's inherently bad. It's that we just didn't know how to handle it and it got out of control. So I would say keep them all, but in a perfect world, we would know how to handle it before it was released on the world. It's too late for that, but I think that we can still make great strides in it. So that's what I would say.
Are you heartened? Are you encouraged by Meta taking some action now relative to Instagram?
I think it's a good first step. I think a lot more needs to be done. I think that the pandemic didn't help with isolating kids and having it be very electronic. But I think that the good that the internet and and social media can do can also not be ignored of bringing people together that are far apart. So I'm thinking that we need help and regulation, not getting rid of everything.
TC, voting for Open Table.
Yeah, exactly.
Does not want to give up Open Table. And Aleko, the Brady Bunch look. I love the Brady Bunch look. Look at that. That is just awesome. Dan, do you wish any of them had never been invented?
So since all social media platforms is not an option on the poll question, I'm in 100% agreement with TC that we need to just fix all the issues, have the regulations catch up. So I would say get rid of none of them, because originally I was thinking get rid of smartphones, but I think that smartphones wish that they had never been invented. But I think that smartphones have been so good for society and so many other applications not having to do with this at all that they have to be kept. So since we can't get rid of all social media, I would go with TC.
And is your role as a first responder influencing your decision? Because when you say that there's been great societal benefit, I mean, it just comes to my mind. Yeah. Nobody has to look for a payphone when there's something going on. Like, hey, everybody's got a phone in their pocket, although it doesn't have to be a smartphone.
Right. Doesn't have to be a smartphone, but in terms of GPS capabilities and other things that you can use smartphones for, I think the benefits outweigh the problems with them. So I'd say keep it all and let's fix the issues however best we
Sam
can.
Barney Gibbs, you are an 18 to 27-year-old. What's your answer to this?
I was going to say, as the resident Gen Z, I think at first I was actually considering smartphones as well, which I feel like is out of pocket, especially for someone who is in journalism. But I think TC and Dan really combined my thoughts. I think the regulations, like most things, we learn as we go. As we see problems, we fix them, which maybe isn't the best thing. But getting rid of everything entirely, it's kind of a get rid of all or keep all. And I think that's kind of the way it has to be. And I think there is promising, steps that are happening to get us to a better place.
So can I piggyback on that? I don't see a difference really between Twitter versus TikTok. I don't know that the world is a better place without TikTok if you still have Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. So in my view, the correct answer is either smartphones or keep them all. Because what if we had each of these, but you didn't have a smartphone, so you weren't constantly walking around and connected at all times? The best answer on this list, in my view, is smartphones, or it's TC's answer and everybody else's answer. Aleko, are you 18 to 27 as well? Are you a Gen Zer?
I'm 26.
You're on the cusp. What's your answer to this question? Are there any that you wish had never been invented?
So, one second here, get everybody in Brady Bunch set up. I'm kind of selfish here. I've wasted a lot of time on TikTok in my years growing up here. Definitely on Instagram as well. So I'm gonna say TikTok. I mean, smartphones are so useful. I can't say that I would get rid of them, especially growing up on them. But I've definitely wasted a lot of time on TikTok. So that's
TikTok. TikTok is the vacuum of all of your free time.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's not for me. The only time that I feel like I've got sucked in by TikTok is the meme of the cat guy, TC, who did the whole, we have it on my Facebook.
Seriously, this is like you're just now figuring out TikTok? That brought you over to the edge?
Yeah. Yes.
It is a younger person's game.
Up until now, I had no idea what anybody was talking about.
Even though you're a TikTok star, to be clear.
Yes, I am.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. People seem to enjoy watching me sip from a Wawa cup and talk politics.
By the way, people on YouTube are saying that our answers are not aligning with the question, that it's not what you would get rid of, it's what you wish you never never invented.
Come on.
I just want to acknowledge that we see you, and I think it's we're in the same conversation, right?
TC,
when you say that.
TC,
Yes.
will you tell me, because as Dan would say, I have so many screens open. How is this running, at the outset of the day? I'm truly curious to know what is the very early voting on it.
Okay, stand by and I will tell you. Okay, so very early voting. Which of the following do you wish was never invented? Oh, well, this is interesting. X is leading the day with 27.21%. And then I'd keep them all at 24.75%.
I think that the X vote is an anti-Musk vote because of the perception of Musk now as a political player in the 2024 campaign. I think it poisons any poll. Well, I shouldn't say poisons it. Maybe it's just the way people react to that media.
I think some people on YouTube were also saying that this sort of soundbite mentality that we're fighting against, that was brought about by Twitter because it was such a short attention span, short bursts, short writing. So who knows?
Can I just say, before I move on from this, please, those three stories, are all worthy of your time, and they'll probably all, I'll request this of Alice, that they go in our Mingle section as well.
Yes.
My God, go and take a look at the Mingle News part of Smerconish.com and just see the evolving narrative taking shape. It's pretty frightening, but now you'll see the world perhaps as I do, of all of these things being interconnected and not in a good way. All right, More headlines now from the Wednesday edition of the newsletter. Lead story today, we went with the AP coverage about the pagers. A Taiwanese company, Gold Apollo, said Wednesday that it had authorized its brand on the pagers that exploded in Lebanon, that it had authorized its brand on the pagers that exploded in Lebanon and Syria in an apparent Israeli operation targeting Hezbollah's communications network, but that another company based in Budapest manufactured them. I said at the outset earlier today that there's an open question in my mind, and maybe it's a poll question for tomorrow or for Friday, as to whether we were just made more or less safe by what transpired. On one hand, it's like Jason Bourne meets 007. You got to give it up to Mossad and to the Israelis for their way to envision and carry out attacks of this nature. But then I read David Ignatius's column, and I read a lot of other columns about this subject by people more knowledgeable than I am, although I try to be. And I say to myself, there's something else going on here. And the something else going on here perhaps is Netanyahu. I mean, the timing of this, why now? It's hard for me not to come to the conclusion that it's now because he wants to influence the U.S. election. He wants to forestall any opportunity for a two-state solution that yields the West Bank to the Palestinians. I could go down this rabbit hole in a hurry, but I don't think I will at this moment in time. I'm just saying this is complicated, and it's not simply a matter where I'm inclined to stand back from the sidelines and applaud the Israelis and say, damn, that was really ingenious, because now there'll be some retaliation from Hezbollah, meaning Iran, and where that ends up, I don't know. Read the piece in the newsletter today by Professor Mead about how we're on the precipice of World War III. I think it'll scare the bejesus out of you. The Gardner Museum, TC. You, of course, remember when I traveled to Boston and I solved that crime
I do remember
on behalf
that,
of
yes.
mankind.
Yes.
Would you like to say something about this, please?
Right. So now they're going to renovate the Dutch Room. And the Dutch Room is where the Isabella Stewart Gardner Museum heist occurred. I believe 13 paintings were stolen that night, including Rembrandt's cut out of their frames, and the frames remain in the Dutch Room empty,
Right.
waiting for the return of those paintings. Evidently, time has taken toll, and it needs an upgrade, and so they're going to conserve it and bring it back while keeping the gallery open, so you can see the conservation people at work, and they are still very much hoping for the return of those paintings, which is kind of extraordinary. I'm not sure what you think. 13 pieces of art worth more than $500 million were stolen on March 18th, 1990. 6 of the best-known works were taken from the Dutch Room, and that is the gallery that is going to be restored now, a 2-year renovation.
Are those 13 priceless works of art, upwards of 500 million, are they hanging on someone's wall?
Yes.
All 13, are they being enjoyed? Who could enjoy them? They're stolen. I mean, or are they in storage?
It's like, I mean, you just mentioned Jason Bourne. How about another favorite movie of mine, The Thomas Crown Affair?
Oh, love it.
It's that
the original.
It's that secret room, the secret, something slides over and there's the painting. It's not being hung so that the public, in public areas of someone's home, because word will get around. It's in someone's very private study. Yes.
Another story today from the Chicago Tribune, and I am so curious to know the political registration of who, after 12 years on the market, bought Michael Jordan's home in Highland Park.
Why are you interested in the political?
Because I want to know if he's selling homes to Republicans too.
There you go.
Right?
Okay. 56,000
square feet. He originally put the property on the market at $29 million, reduced the price to $14.9 million. And by the way, I think this is the reason. The property sold. The Wall Street Journal just published a feature, I read it, on this property. From the Journal, quote, a bespoke iron gate crowned with Jordan's iconic number 23 guards the 61-year-old 56,000 square foot home. We have an image of the gate of Michael Jordan's house for the benefit of those who are watching us on YouTube. And the question became, there it is. How cool is that? Now, if you bought Michael Jordan's home and you've got his jersey number on your front gate, are you keeping it? That is the question. Dan, what do you say? If you bought Michael Jordan's house, are you leaving all of the sort of imprints that he left on that property?
Yeah, I think it's part of the charm. I think it comes with the territory, comes with the property. Why not?
I agree with you. Sam, when your ship comes in and you buy Michael Jordan's house, what are you doing with that gate?
I mean, unless I can sell it somehow, I think you have to keep it.
Right. I mean, I wonder, frankly, that's a great idea. If you remove the gate, it's not like you're throwing it out back behind the pool house, right? Somebody else is going to buy just that gate. That probably would have great value itself.
But it's not just
Definitely.
the gate. Go ahead.
I think it would go for just as much as the house at that point, for how much it came down.
TC?
I was going to say it's not just the gate. There's also the specialized basketball court that has his name and his kids' names, and there's all so throughout the property there are all kinds of personalized built-ins that you're going to have to deal with one way or the other. So as Sam says, you can sell them or you can live with them.
Let me tell you what stays if I buy the house.
Yes.
Okay, what stays?
I know.
What stays is the dedicated room with a humidor and poker tables. Other unusual features include doors from the original Playboy Mansion in Chicago and a built-in aquarium. I'm not taking the aquarium. I had an aquarium when I was in law school. It was a lot of upkeep, and I'm not keeping that. Ladies and gentlemen, speaking of selling things to everybody, how about a cartoon book? Rob Rogers drew for us today in the newsletter. Rob Rogers, one of the 4 award-winning editorial cartoonists featured in the Smerconish 2024 book. You know this by now. The deadline is October 7. By the way, like, if you're a person who sooner or later is going to buy the cartoon book, why not make today the day? Today is the 18th of September. Time is short. 100% of all profits from this book are going to the Children's Crisis Treatment Center. That is a not-for-profit based in Philadelphia that provides mental and behavioral health services to kids and their families. They do God's work. Please go to Smerconish.com, the only place where you can buy a Smerconish book and purchase one or more today. I'm really excited because now this has taken on a whole new meaning and experience where I am going to get to donate on your behalf a sizable sum of money to CCTC. How much? I don't know yet. Depends how many books we sell. But I'm going to pay the bills for printing the books, pay the designers, and everything that's left is going to this not-for-profit. So thanks for buying the book. Thanks for watching. And most importantly, thanks for listening on SiriusXM's POTUS channel. See you later. Okay, I appreciate you guys. That was excellent.